Hi there, and welcome to the first episode of Snaggle Games, the channel where I talk about, well, games. My first video is about a game I seem to keep coming back to, and I know I had questions and concerns about this old school classic that seems to be kicking after all these years, Final Fantasy XI. What brought me back slightly was the release of the newest addition to Final Fantasy, 15. With the soundtrack to Final Fantasy XI that made all the nostalgia rush through me like a wave. But it seems I've always uninstalled the game right before I want to play again, so I have to go through the overnight install of the game and all that good stuff before I can even play it. And hope that it doesn't go through another update the day I want to start playing. As of writing this script, there is an event going on all month, and the details will be listed below. EXP chain bonuses are one of the best things in the list. Especially if you need to level those sub-jobs that you never got past a certain point. Let's talk about why I personally keep coming back and whether you should come back yourself. Prepare for my crappy intro. I began playing this game back when it came out. Started on PS2, then moved to Xbox once I lost my account, because everyone that has ever had a vanilla account knows how much of a pain in the ass it was to get your password reset or even get it from the tech support line you had to call. You had to have the originating address it was registered to the game, the credit card number used to pay the monthly fee, among other things. As many others possibly do, you pick the game up, then you stop after you burn yourself out, then pick it back up again, and the cycle has continued for me for years. So much changes when I decided to come back that it just begs me to come back. Though I miss the golden days of sitting in Volcrum Dunes for a party or being pissed off that I couldn't level my greatsword on Warrior because there were never any on the auction house, I felt I had the most fun back then because there was so much interaction between other real players. Because it was mandatory. This is a game that used to be all about helping other players out for the greater good, but even though the game has changed drastically, it's not all bad. Though I'm not just sharing the good, but I'm going to also share the bad things as well. For some of you more seasoned vets out there, you'll quickly come to realize how easy this game has actually gotten. Remember when you used to get 25 XP for an easy prey? Of course, there were quite a bit of difference whether the monsters you were fighting had low evasion or defense, or more evasion or defense, or just an easy prey with no differential differences when you were fighting them. Now for easy prey and the right quest done in the Rhapsody missions, you can almost get like 1k per kill. Of course, if it's an even match in starting areas for new characters. For kicks, myself and a friend started a new character just 2 weeks ago. Found out some crazy stuff along the way, and I'll tell you, we're just about halfway done with all expansion missions and the newest additions to the Seekers of Alduin. I've got 3 level 99s and decent gear for all of them. So with that being said, let's break down what all has changed to make your life much easier and what used to be extremely frustrating at times. And then we'll talk about what still sucks about the game. As previously stated, XP has been increased a lot. Without any of the new Rhapsody key items that increase the rate of skill gains, XP gain, and reduce book buff prices after getting some currency, you roughly get about 100 XP per kill for easy praise, and that's quite a jump. Well, from the old days of almost nothing and you relied on XP chain parties to get your levels or merits. Transportation in the game has been implemented in many different ways as far as teleportation. Of course, you could still go to outpost warps and some other knickknacks you were able to do before, but in addition there are some home point warps costing low amounts of gil, and they get you from place to place relatively cheap. There are also survival books that you can get in almost every single zone. These books will teleport you to the zones you'd like to just level in without having to run all the way over there. Remember those Crawler's Nest parties? Yeah, Alliance Crawler's Nest parties? Oh god. Also, the Unity NPC in each of the starting nations will now teleport you to other zones in specific locations. Granted, you have, the correct expansions. You also have to pay a certain amount of Unity accolades. I believe it's 100 per teleport. You get those relatively easy doing quests and Sparks of Imminence quests and things of that nature. Once you get to certain points in the corresponding quest line, the more will open up. Say when I was opening up Whitegate, the zones that weren't there before opened up for me, like Mount Zalom and Ifrit's Cauldron, things like that. The thing is, you still have to go back and touch these teleportation spots to be able to teleport to them in the future. Except, of course, for the Unity teleport NPCs. And on top of all that, you now have mounts in the game. You get your first one for free. It's a raptor. Though the animations are spotty and they seem like they were lazily slapped in, as you can really see how stiff your characters are when they're mounted. On your mounts and versus the chocobos, you can see the real animations on the chocobos, but when you get on the actual mounts, it's real stiff and lanky. And with some of the quests or special login campaigns, you can get other mounts. The quest is quite simple. Anytime you're outdoors, you're able to just mount up. You don't need to go find an NPC to rent your chocobo anymore. But you can if you like. Just, you know, for that classic music. You get trust in the game as well, which are little NPC characters that fulfill job roles that you need in basically just a classic party. A tank, a healer, support, DPS. You get your first couple of trust in the very beginning of the game. Level caps are also removed for most missions and quests, making them much easier to finish with a capped character and starter 117 gear. That might even be overkill, to be honest. You can literally get to level 10 before you even fight your first monster or leave the city when you first start a fresh character. There's a new segment in your menu called Quests. After doing a short, easy mission, you're granted the ability to do these Sparks of Eminence quests. Easy to murderously hard quests that you can do while partaking in everyday activities in-game that will let you get free XP and a new form of currency called Sparks and Unity accolades, which will be explained a little later. Sparks are used to purchase gear from the Sparks vendor. This gear has almost made the auction house obsolete for lower levels, that is. Though these NPCs don't offer anything other than your main forms of armor, like your head, body, hands, legs, and feet, main and offhand weapons. They don't carry rings, back pieces, earrings, throwing weapons, etc. Enough to get you through those easy levels. But Snags, if I'm leveling so fast, how will I hit anything at higher levels with no skills or my weapons? Sparks can also purchase books to up skill points each book you open. When you hit level 30 in any job, you can turn in a quest that gives you some Sparks, XP, and 12 of a given book that will skill up a weapon that has a good rating with the job that you're currently using. These books are costly, but it's recommended to really only use them when you're like drastically low on skill, because you'll waste Sparks on 0.1 upgrades when you should be getting anywhere from 0.1 to 0.5 for each book you open, mostly in the higher tiers. Food items, ammo, ninja items, and other things can be purchased from new Moogles by the Mog houses in all major cities. Basically, any port area in any of your major cities, you'll be able to talk to these Moogles and purchase these items. They get more items based on the missions you've completed so far in Rhapsody missions. The further you get into said missions, the higher level stuff you can purchase. Say for instance, skill up foods for magic and combat skill gain. Those will be for sale up to the 80% chance for gain. Also, foods will now display what their benefits are, making it easy to know which ones you should buy when you're looking for that edge against the monsters you're going to be fighting. Merits are still in the game and easy as ever to get. About 10k XP per kill at level 99 in some of the newer areas. I can almost one-shot them on my main character. Unity accolades are used to pay for special notorious monster fights that have a chance to drop gear that's rare EX, and it varies in level depending on how awesome that notorious monster is, and items that drop from that allow you to upgrade these said items to a +1 status, or they can be used to purchase little items like warp scrolls and things of that nature, or gear upgrades, which you're going to need to be able to get these +1 items and then use Unity accolades to upgrade said items. Completely forgot to mention this in my script, but you can now buy all the way up to tier 4 spells. There are specific vendors located throughout the city that you're gonna have to Google, but you can buy all the way up to tier 4 spells, say for instance Black Mage spells. You can now buy them from the vendors in Juno. They're kind of expensive, but it also sets a firm price point so that you won't get gouged by guild sellers. So that's a plus. Fame has also been changed. You need fame for certain quests or certain exclusive items for specific job classes. What used to take hundreds of trades or quests now take a fraction of those things. I maxed out fame in some major cities with little to no frustrating, elongated trading macros. You now get capacity points, which are used to get job points. To give you some idea of how long this can take without proper knowledge or where to level up to get decent capacity points, because it's severely minimized, almost to the point where you're just starting over a new character in vanilla, or what some of the people with these stars above their heads had to go through to get the status. You need 30,000 capacity points for one job point. and you have to spend 2100 job points to master your job. So essentially you need 63 million capacity points to get that symbol above your head, and some very useful job specific buffs per tier unlock. Unless you got some friends that can help you get to some of the good things about the game that essentially give you more capacity points per kill, it's going to take you quite a long time to be able to get up to that master class status, especially with no gear. But essentially you have to have a job mastered and really good augmented 119 gear to go out and fight some of the best monsters in the game, which will take you still quite a long time to do unless you have a lot of friends that are already at that point and help you out. So let's talk about some of the stuff that still kind of sucks, but has not completely deterred me personally on playing religiously lately, and still has that passion in my body that is the rush of nostalgia. Usually on a good night lately, there's about 300 to 600 people on at any given time, most of which are just people AFK selling in major cities, lots of bots in the newer areas fighting mobs that drop items that I guess sell for decent gil. Seems gil sellers are never gonna go away, and player retention has dipped quite a bit on my particular server. I'm on Cerberus. However, it's not all bad because I've been able to kill Leaping Lizzie about 10 times since I started playing my new character. Almost no competition on NMs that may drop a weapon that will help you out in leveling up when events aren't happening. But then again, there is no interaction with any other people, and if you don't have friends to play with, so it just gets lonely sometimes when you play. MMOs are meant to be played with other people, you know what I mean? The players that still are playing are so into what they're doing, they're not really going to help out any new players. If you don't have anyone to play with, you have no real direction unless you go out of your way to find out what's changed or to correct you on things you may be doing the hard way that caused you to stop playing in the first place. Other player characters, or just people rather, are so caught up in their endgame stuff that the helpfulness that this game used to be great for, to my knowledge, completely died. Cutscenes are still not skippable. Oh my god. I understand that Square wants people to know what's going on in the story, but come on dude, it's been like 13, 14 years already. I've seen these cutscenes for years, some lasting in upwards of 20 minutes, mashing on a button to skip dialogue, or advance in dialogue rather. The game has been out long enough that I feel even if new players pick up this game for some reason, they can read up on the story online somewhere. No need to force people to watch every single cutscene, and there are a lot. I mean, it's been out long enough, you would think that we wouldn't even need the cutscenes anymore, that everybody that's been playing already knows what the hell's going on, so just, you know, that would be nice. Making money seems to be easy now that there are so many ways to make it, so that means that auction house prices for higher tier items are actually way more expensive than you'd expect. If you aren't savvy in the ways of making money, you're pretty much screwed on the auction house. That, or you'll spend the entire savings you've acquired over your leveling to 99 on just one 119 item that you'll ultimately replace. And that's only if your bid goes through, betting every penny that you have on an item that essentially posted at a higher price. Not really too much of a big deal here, but if you have someone that you play with or a couple of friends that you play with, I'm not sure if you guys have this problem, but pronouncing some of the names is kind of a pain. You know what you're talking about when you say something about the dunes, but you pronounce it wrong or in a way that your friends don't really understand, and it makes it really hard to communicate, especially when you're first starting this game. Hell, me and my buddy have been playing for years and we still have trouble communicating what we're talking about, because we have our own ways of saying things even if the letters are in jacked up positions in each word. The login process still takes too freaking long. I mean, we're in 2017 now. There should be a faster way to log in with, I mean, just as much security involved. When the game kicks you because of a server hiccup or something equally ridiculous, you have to go through the whole process to log in again. You have to get through so many screens just to get to log into the game, to choose a character to log into the game. It's like Exhibit is pimping out the login screen. It's just, yo dog, I heard you like logging in, so we're gonna put some logins on your login so that you can log in while you log in. Word. I was hoping that this would have been fixed the first or second change when I came back after the nostalgia died off, but yeah, I know the nostalgia died off quickly because it's basically really annoying again. Something that probably doesn't happen as often, upgrade the freaking download speeds for when you want to, you know, you get that passion back, you want to install the game again. I mean, I've got 200 megabytes a second download speeds, and it still takes 6 to 8 hours to download and install the game in its entirety. only because I think the servers have limits on how much bandwidth is getting shot between each place. I mean, I understand the player base is decreased and you're not getting in as much money per month as normal, but I mean, come on. Still, I mean, just do it. Please. I mean, if these things haven't been implemented yet, I don't think we're gonna get them at all. And one last thing to mention that really irks me, but does kind of make sense. While you're doing missions to complete storyline objectives, many of the locations are placed obviously way out of the way to make you see every corner of every map in the game. Before mounts, this was tedious and very frustrating because walking takes so long, or you'd only have your chocobo for half the trip. Even with all the perks right now, it's still annoying when you have to start new characters because you have to do all this over again. And of course, I've mentioned that not being able to skip cutscenes just elongates this process. Granted, it doesn't take nearly as long. It's still something you've experienced before, but thanks, Square. I know it's a lot to follow and a lot to take in, and this video is probably pretty long. If you can outweigh the good with the bad, or the latter, if you make your decision to come back, well, you're obviously interested if you watch this video. So with the information I've provided, I can't say I'm professional in making videos like these. I may have very well left some things out. This has been a long time coming and it will be my first video. I hope that it helps you make your decision in whether you want to play this again or pick it up for the first time. Maybe some vets can chime in on some of the things I may have misinterpreted or mispronounced or missaid. You can help fill the people in that may have questions in the comment section. That would help. If you guys want some more information on updates or things like that, I can make regular videos on updates when they do updates. I know they just pushed out an update today. Today is the 10th. I don't know when this video is going up, but it's another logging campaign. So remember, gents and ladies, love it, hate it, rate it. Take care, guys, and thank you for supporting my channel.